everyone. I'm Jerry Tabatt with another edition of our military community. Got a very special one today. We're going to break it down into a couple of segments. We'll talk about some heroes, not necessarily military-wise, but we've got some other heroes out there we're going to talk to. Also, we're coming up on the holidays. We need to stay healthy, and I got the perfect guest for all of this today. And joining me today is Miss Karen Tayes, who founded 850 Heroes for Heroes. She's also the owner of Elysian Spa. Karen, thanks so much for coming in today. I'm really glad we have a chance to chat. You know, we need to let people know a little bit about you. So tell us a little bit about you, and let's get to know you.
Well, I was born and raised here in Panama City, a graduate of Gulf Coast State College.
All right.
And worked for many years in the pre-hospital realm. I was a paramedic first here in Bay County, and then I went on to be a flight nurse and covered the Panhandle. I taught as the EMS program director here at the college. I was an adjunct for many years, and recently retired and decided to open a med spa and do something a little bit different than pre-hospital.
You're not retired, Karen. You're like me. We don't retire.
Exactly.
But one thing you did do, and I want to talk about this, is our 9/11 Heroes. You started 850 Heroes for Heroes. What is that?
So my kids and I are all a first responder family. My brother, he's really my ex-brother-in-law, but I've known him since he was 2, so he's my brother. And my son are both firefighters, and my daughter is a nurse, and their dad is a firefighter paramedic. So we're kind of just a first responder family. And several years ago, Terry Paris, who started the 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb for the fallen heroes of that tragic day, he decided to get out of that business and not do it any longer. So we decided that we wanted to bring that back and start a nonprofit in hopes to give back to our first responder community. So we decided to go with the 850 Heroes for Heroes and bring back that 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb, you know, that mostly focuses on the firefighters, but we tried to focus on all of the fallen heroes that day, all of the first responders, and make sure that we keep their memory alive and that the younger generations don't forget that tragic day and what that meant to all of us that remember. And I was so excited that my brother and my son and my daughter were all for it. Like, we all decided kind of at the same time. We all had that thought, and then we all called each other and we were like, oh yeah, let's do it. And I thought it was exciting because they probably don't even remember that day.
And that's one of the big things, Karen. We've got so many people out there, especially our younger, 2011, I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah.
The community is really helping you, and how do you think this helps the community get together and understand that even though you may not have known about this, it's still such an important part of this community and across the whole country?
Yeah, I think that it impacted, of course, all of us that remember it. And, you know, like I said, I'm so excited that the younger generation are now, you know, hearing about it, wanting to know about it, and wanting to carry on that tradition and keep their honor alive. You know, of course, the fire department has such a brotherhood, so they will never let those fallen heroes' memory dissolve. I know if there is a firefighter with a pulse and that's breathing, they will never let that memory lapse. And so when we said we were going to do it, we literally had 2 months to plan it. And I can't believe the turnout we had. The amount of volunteers we had was phenomenal. And of course, next year we'll have a lot more time to plan, and it'll be a lot bigger. But we didn't just have firefighters, you know, we had local military people. We had people come from all over the other states to volunteer to do the climb. And so it was so exciting to see how, as a brotherhood, first responders, military, all come together and, you know, want to represent, want to help each other, and have each other's backs.
Well, and I have a grandson that just recently graduated from all the courses here at Gulf Coast College. He's now a firefighter, EMS qualified and everything. He just got hired by the Walton County Fire Department, so I know he's going to want to be involved in that. And it's amazing if you stop and think how many people it actually affects us and realize how special these heroes are to us. Now, that day is a busy, busy day for you. We've got some pictures, and I want you to talk about these as we go through about all the day's activities. So go ahead and put the first one up, and Karen, I'll let you talk about it.
So we partner with some other nonprofits here. There's First Alarm or Second Alarm. They are a military, or not a military, a first responder that want to focus on the mental health aspect of first responders and firefighters. Also, you see on the far end Shannon and Jim there that have Lids for Kids. So they like to help kids that are sick or have adversity going on in their life, and they want to meet a firefighter, and they want to come out, and they get a refurbished firefighter hat and give them that and let them sit in the fire truck and that sort of thing. So we brought all of the nonprofits together, and right here, this was us before we left, and there's a gentleman with his son who's a firefighter from Taylor County.
Wow.
And he called me and he said, I'm getting off this morning and I'm driving over and I really want to do this climb. So he got there about the time everybody had finished, and we were all packing up, and we never leave a brother behind. So we're like, we're going to stay and walk with you and stay with you while you do the climb. So he and his son did the climb, and we stayed and waited for him. And this was following his last climb to complete his, 110 stories.
Sure.
These are some other nonprofits. Sherry there has the nonprofit for Rooms for a Purpose. Mm-hmm. And then this is some of the chamber people that I met with the Bay County Chamber that came out and supported us. And that's my brother, and that's my daughter. This is a local fire department. I believe that might be Lynn Haven. And they came together and they were getting a picture before. We like to pray over their helmets. And the firefighters like to wear their bunker gear and all their gear just as the firefighters did that day, so they don't cut themselves any slacks. And then here's some, I believe these guys were from Louisiana, and they're climbing and having their American flags. And then we have the tag there. As you can see, all the tags that are on his jacket there, those are a tag for each of the fallen first responders that day. And we wear those and say we like to finish their climb. And then this is I believe these people are from Mississippi, and that is a hose that they have every one of the fallen firefighters' names on, and they did that after the first year of 9/11, and they carry that with them every year.
That's absolutely amazing. You're talking about Louisiana firefighters coming in here and everything. This community really loves our first responders and that, and I'm glad to see that. What time of the year do you hold this usually?
We like to have it around 9/11. We'll usually have it on the weekend before or the weekend after, so that people can come. In the past, when Terry Pierce had it, a lot of people would come from all over the United States. In fact, I met a guy from Colorado. He had Googled it, found us, and decided to attend this one. They come and stay for the week and make it a vacation and bring their whole family so that their whole family can participate.
How many stairs do you climb, and where do you climb at?
We do 110 stories, and Edgewater kindly lets us use their facility for free because it's about the only condo. We don't have one that's obviously 110 stories, but it has a stairwell outside, so it makes it a little cooler. And which the firefighters, they wouldn't care what the circumstances are. They're going to climb it. They're going to climb it with their bunker gear for their fallen brothers. But Edgewater partners with us and allows us to do that there at their facility free. And then, of course, anybody can stay there if they'd like. Right,
and that's amazing. You have a website available, right?
We do have a website, and what we're going to try to do is some other fundraisers during the year. We're going to partner with the Bunt Cake place on 23rd Street and do a fundraiser. We're also going to have a 5K run, and next week we're decorating a Christmas tree at Gulf World, and they're going to auction that off, and that money will go back to 850 Heroes for Heroes. And then what we hope to do is one day when we have some money going in our account, is we hope to help local first responder families if they have a need, financial need or anything, or if our local first responder agencies, whether it be the EMS or the cops, if they have a need, that we can help provide that for. Because I know before Terry, his nonprofit provided the vest for the canine units, the dogs. and for I think it was for the sheriff's office. And the other thing we'd like to do is focus on mental health awareness.
Yeah,
I really
so
would like
important.
to be able to afford some good resources, because I feel like that was not an area that was very heavily encouraged back when I was in the field. And I feel like it is, it's a lot dealing with what you deal with as a first responder.
Exactly. And what's the web address?
It is 850h4h.com.
Okay, and they'll take any donations or anything, any way you can help. And
Absolutely.
Karen, thank you so much for doing that. I mean, it's so appreciative, and it helps us heal, even though it's been many, many years ago.
Yeah. We cry every 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb. There's tears, and we'll never forget them.
And you meet friends. I say it's not friends anymore; they become family.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
the family grows, and you're going to grow bigger too. I can understand. I know you.
Yeah.
You're also working in the health and wellness field. We're going to talk about that now for the rest of this interview. It's so important, we talked about the firefighters and the military you support, the civilian you support. It doesn't make any difference what walk of life you come from. Wellness and health are so important to us. Why do you think we need to stay healthy? As a nurse, you've seen many things. What are some things that can lead us to a better life by staying healthy?
Yeah, I got out of, the first responder field or the pre-hospital, and I wanted to do something completely different. And I wanted to do something where, my first responder people were happy to see me for all the wrong reasons. And I want these people to see me for all the right reasons.
Yes.
And yes, I do love to focus on not just making people feel good and look good about themselves, but also healthy on the inside. I do love making women, pampering them, making them feel good and confident. I don't think it's about being vain. I think it's about giving you some confidence, when you don't look tired or you're happy with the way you look. COVID actually had a toll in that. When people had to look at themselves on Zoom,
Yes.
the aesthetics world boomed. So while I'm in aesthetics, I really like to focus on a holistic approach and keeping people healthy, keeping them feeling good on the inside and the outside.
And that is so important. You just hit the nail on the head. Is when we see ourselves, we look in the mirror every day. Everybody looks in the mirror every day, and they don't like what they see. They say, "Oh, geez, maybe I need to go walk another mile today, or maybe I need to do another diet or something." Let's talk about the food side of it. Staying healthy. A lot of people, and I'm going to say, get hooked into this. They see all these different ads and things on TV. It says, "Oh, for only $99.99 a month, if you get this, you're going to get this." That's not true all the time. It helps, but there's easier ways to be healthy in that
Well,
respect.
yeah. I mean, we all know that diet and exercise is the golden rule. It's hard, though, and it's also hard as your hormones decline. It's hard to get that weight off, to get that ball rolling. So there's a lot of different things that we can do, a lot of different fad things that are out there. But really, what we like to do is we will help them with medications if they need to get the ball rolling to kind of get that first few pounds off. But what we really like to focus on is a healthy lifestyle. So we try to get people to start exercising. We always invite them to the 9/11 stair climb, and we say start training now because it's a lot. And then we try to get them to focus on eating. And I say you don't have to do this crazy fad diet and buy all this junk that, making cauliflower into mac and cheese and that kind of thing. I did that. My kids thought I was crazy. It's really about eating closer to the garden is what I tell people. So less processed, less fast food, focusing on fresher ingredients. And exercising, and then proportion management.
And that's some of the things and you said as your hormones decrease and everything, you're talking about old guys like me. It's kind of difficult to go on a diet, to be healthy eating and exercise in that. So a lot of it, you mentioned that before, Karen, a lot of it's mental. How do you mentally prepare yourself to get ready to say, okay, now these are my goals and I'm going to work towards it? How do I do that mentally?
You say it's for old guys like you, but actually it's not. What I'm finding, especially for first responders and military, is that their hormones are starting to decline at a much younger age. I
Really?
have a lot of first responders that are in their 20s that have a very low testosterone level.
Wow.
So it takes an effect on a lot more than just your mental health. And so that's what we're starting to look at and find and try to help people maintain an optimum level. But the biggest thing is, when I would say, oh, I'm going to go on a diet, I swear I was just like thinking about food. I could not stop thinking about the food
Right.
and stuff. And I think that's what most people do. If you say you can't have something, then they obsess over it. So we have some medications. I'm sure everybody's heard of all of them. They're in the news all the time. And we will start them on that to kind of break that thought, that cycle of focusing on food and what they're going to eat or what they can eat. Because it does take your desire for all the snacking, the
Sure,
sweets away. And what I say is, while that noise is turned off, let's take this time to focus on a healthier diet, getting rid of all these bad habits, if it's alcohol or whatever, and then start focusing on exercise. Because as you lose about 10 or 20 pounds, you feel great.
Right.
And you're feeling much better. And that's when we start turning to, all right, now let's turn to exercise. Let's turn to weights. Let's try to get those hormones back to the normal levels. And then if we can't, we can always do some hormone optimization as
Sure,
well. And we
sure.
do a lot of that. We do injections, creams, and pellets.
And one of the things you mentioned too, Karen, you talked about military, first responders and that. Most people, when you mention first responders and you mention military, their thought is, well, these guys, they got to do this. But the ladies are also under a lot of stress. They've got kids to worry about.
Right.
They've got education-wise. They've got food-wise. They've got, keeping the house up. Does it affect men and women in different ways when it comes to a stressful type lifestyle, where you're always thinking about what can I do this, and this?
Yeah, for sure. I think men, my male clients are less apt to come in on their own at first, and they're less apt to admit that they have something going on. They know something's not right. Where
Right.
women are usually more in tune, and they'll come in and are more aware and are more forthcoming with that. And so, sometimes you have to get that one guy at the station in, and then he begins to tell all of his friends, and
Sure.
then they realize that it's okay to have stress and that sort of thing in their life. And what I find is, if you do have a healthy diet and you are exercising and getting some hormone optimization, you just feel good all around.
Right.
And your mood's better, and then everybody around you is happier, like mama and the kids and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and speaking of the kids too, if mom and dad are stressed out, and like I say, it doesn't make any difference if you're civilian
Yeah.
or military, if mom and dad are stressed out, the kids feel that. And a lot of times the parents don't realize that. So how can we also help our kids to be healthy and do good exercise and that? Because too many of them, this is their escape.
For
and,
sure.
And it's not good.
Yeah, for sure. When mom and dad are making these changes, I say get the whole family involved. And that's what I love about the diet that we share. It's not a crazy diet that, when I used to go on fad diets and do the food, my kids were like,
Sure.
I'm not eating that. You're crazy if you think I'm eating that. So I tell them it's something that the whole family can eat. It's usually the wife that comes in first, and she's usually the meal preparer. So I say just fix it for the whole family.
Sure.
And they'll eventually, enjoy those foods, and they'll crave those foods and just be steadfast. So I usually get the wife first, then the husband will come in, and then it trickles down. The family
Yes.
starts to all eat healthy, and then try to get involved. Just like the 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb, we love to make it a family event. One, so we teach the younger kids, but they're out there exercising and preparing all year.
Right. And if you keep the family as a close-knit unit like that, Karen, and keep them involved, they understand what mom and dad are going through. So
Yeah.
they're also, even though you may not notice it, they're also adapting to that, and they say, well, maybe if I didn't do this, mom wouldn't be so angry, or stuff like that. So it's very important to get the whole group involved.
Yeah, and it does affect the family. My kids being children with parents that are first responders, it did affect them.
Sure.
They make fun of me and their dad all the time. They're like, well, you're not going to get sympathy at our house if you're sick, because we'll be like, do you need an ambulance? You'll be fine then. So, it does affect the kids as well. And so, we want to make sure everybody's mental health is good.
Now, before you start this diet, this exercise program and all of that, there's a lot of good information, articles that are written and things, but do you recommend going to somebody like you, Karen, that specialize in this, your family doctor, and talk to them just to see, like, will my body tolerate certain things?
Yeah, we do blood work, and there's a lot of information out there. Most people have heard of these medications, but they are, not aware of all the things you hear, good and bad. And so I sit down and talk to them about it, and I will have a lot of them go back and talk to their primary physician and have them do some research or get a yes or no from them before we start the medications. But most of the time, I've even converted some of the primary care physicians around here. I've told them, like, hey, read these articles and look at my results that I've had from my patients. They've lost the weight. They've gotten off all their medications. Their blood work is amazing. They're healthier than they've ever been. And not just that, I had a client call me crying one day, and she said, I rode a roller coaster for the first time with my daughter. And, I didn't even think about that. Like, she was always too large since her daughter was born to fit in a roller coaster and can never enjoy family vacations. And so that's just amazing to me.
And you mentioned one thing, too large, is when people put on a lot of weight, they get embarrassed easily and they want to try and stay for themselves.
Yes.
They need to remember they're not the only person that's dealing with this. So if they reach out, they're eventually going to realize that there's help available out to them. So changing that attitude is probably one of the biggest things.
Yeah, and for them to come out of their shell, because they have a lot of anxiety, they're very shy, they're very introverted, and to see them change and just blossom into an amazing person that they always wanted to be, that's why I do it. And that's what makes me happy. You got a smile
on your face all the time. All right, we've decided now, we've talked to you, we've talked to our family physician, and we've decided, okay, my goal is to lose 30 pounds, and I'm going to drop my blood pressure, I'm going to drop my weight, and I'm going to eat healthy. Do you recommend sitting down and say, okay, Monday through Sunday, this is the pattern that we're going to follow?
I like that. I don't ever ask them when we start to do that. Because if I told you, look, you can't have anything good to eat, and you got to drink water and give up everything you're drinking, you're going to have to work out, and people will shut down and not listen to you. So I say, here's our goals. This is what we're going to do. We're not going to talk about weight. We're just going to talk about a goal on a weight. I say, we're just going to say we're going to get healthier, and we're going to just take one day at a time. I start them on the meds, and then at 1 month, they come back in. I don't ask them to do anything. After about 2 weeks, I send them a clean diet and, follow up, how are you doing? And at 1 month, they come in, they've lost weight, and we decide, like, where we need to go on the dosing. And then that's when I say, all right, we're going to set some goals now. And so you get to decide today if it's going to be, we're going to change something in your diet, or if we're going to add some exercising. And then every month, we add a new change. So they've done that other one for 30 days, so that's making it a habit. And then we do baby steps. So then by the end of it, they've lost their weight, which again, we don't say we're going to get to 130.
Right.
We say we're going to get to where we feel healthy.
Exactly.
Our clothes fit good, and our blood work and labs and our vital signs are amazing.
And once we get to that point, let's face it, the younger you are, the more elasticity you have in your skin. But as you get older and you lose that weight, you start to see skin here, skin there, and you say, oh my God, I've lost the weight. I'm doing the exercises. Now what do I do?
Yeah, so I always say, at like every 20 pounds, we can fix, some things in the face.
Yeah.
We've got some skin tightening, microneedling with radio frequency machines. We got some lasers. We have filler. We have all kinds of things that we can do for the skin. Because you're right, that's when they start going, no, my face is falling. And I'm like, don't worry, we can make you look good. So yeah, that's when people will move over from the weight loss into aesthetics. And we'll do some little things like do a little Botox, do a little filler to give you some cheeks back, do a little skin tightening with the microneedling, and just to make people feel good about themselves.
Yes. And over there at Elysian, you deal with mainly women, but are guys welcome to come over there too?
Absolutely. We have a lot of men. We call it bro talks.
Oh, Lord.
We do have a lot of men. We do a lot of pellets for hormone optimization. I do a lot of men for weight loss. And yes, we do have some men that get facials. My son, who's a firefighter, he loves to get facials. He'll probably hate me for saying that, but he does love to get his brows waxed and facials. And, you know, it makes you feel good for an hour of pampering. I don't care who you are.
Right, and that's the thing. You pamper yourself. You've gotten through the program that you've set up for yourself with your consultation. You've done exactly what you wanted to do. Now make yourself look good. Mm-hmm. And as you do that, how does that bleed over to other people that you know and they see what's going on? Does that help expand that wellness category?
As far as like how, when they see people looking young, is that what you mean? Yeah. Well,
when
I
they
like
lose
to
the
say,
weight and and all of that.
Yeah, I like to say all my friends are like aging in reverse. So on Facebook, if you see my friends that looking like they're getting younger, they've probably been into the spa. But yeah, you know, most of my friends are like, oh, I want to do that. I want to know, and they come in and then they tell their spouse, their families,
Right.
and then
Right.
it just grows from there. I get most of my clients from word of mouth and then Google.
And that's good. Now, we got just a little over 3 minutes left, but I have got to get this in.
Okay.
You see these commercials on TV, Karen, where they show the lady, and the next picture says, Sona Bello, one treatment. And I mean, they look like they've gone from 50 to 20. Is that true? One treatment does that?
That is not true, unfortunately.
See, that's what,
I would love that, but it does
Yeah.
take a little bit of work. You know, when ladies come in, I always say, we didn't get like this overnight. You know, because they come in and they're like, I look tired, I hate this, I hate that. Women are the most critical people on earth of themselves. So I always say, let's put a plan together. It may take a year, you know, for budgetary reasons or
Sure.
to get that skin
Sure.
turned around. I mean, we grew up in Florida. We're horrible with our skin. You know, we laid out in the sun. My generation, we were at the beach every weekend. So I put a plan in place. Sometimes it's over a year, and we do little steps.
Yeah.
And you know, some of it's pampering on the way. You know, like some
you deserve
facials
that.
and that sort of thing. Yeah. And but as far as the weight loss and stuff goes, it's not all going to be just meds and the weight falls off. It's going to be making changes. You know, whether it be dietary or working out. And I do have a couple of gyms that partner with me that will you know, accept those clients in. But I promise if they put that time in and be consistent and trust the plan and the process, they will improve those areas
Right.
they don't like, whether it be weight loss, hormones, or, you know, a couple wrinkles on the face.
A couple of wrinkles on the face. I like that.
Yeah.
You know what? We're starting to run out of time. We got a minute, 45 seconds. I'm going to give you 1 minute to your final thoughts on this.
Well, I would love for everybody to come see me at Elysian, but I would love to pamper people and, again, make people and Bay County residents healthy and appreciate themselves and happy with themselves. But as far as the 850 Heroes for Heroes, I would just love continued support and for more people to come out to our stair climb next year to, again, you know, represent your department and honor those people that have fallen. Now, we do the first responders, but I think all of the 3,000 people that died that day, you know, are worth honoring. So, yeah, if we can be of help, give us a call at Elysian or go to our website for the 850 Heroes for Heroes.
Wow. We got a lot in this interview today, Karen. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank
I
you
appreciate
for
it.
having me.
Well, and this 850 Heroes for Heroes is amazing, and keep up the good work, and I'm sure that now that people have heard about this, you're going to get a better response from that, and that's what you need to keep this in mind, to let people know what they sacrificed. I don't know how many people would immediately in a situation like they were in say, I'll give my life up to save someone else, and that's something that's so special.
Yeah, for
All
sure.
right, Karen, thank you so much again for coming in today, and unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, this is it for another edition of our military community. Again, doesn't make any difference if you're military or civilian. You need to stay healthy. Go see them at Elysian Spa. Talk to Karen, she'll take care of you. And remember, 850 Heroes for Heroes. It's a great cause. We will never forget, and we will take care of our fellow people, be they here with us presently and physically or in heaven looking down. That's it for this edition. Have a great day, everyone. I'm Jerry Tabatt.